Okay, we'll call the committee back to order, and I'll take a motion to go into executive session. So we've got lots of people motioning and seconding. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? We are in executive session. All the senators should have the sheets that we talked about. In public, there's sheets up there. But before we get to that, we had a request to have a tour of a certain facility down south. That is right now set up for 1 o'clock on Monday. I'll need to know who's coming. There's a question, I thought it would have to be noticed in the calendar. I'm told by some people that it does not need to be. I've told the people at the hospital that it is not a time for us to ask questions of them, but have them show us their facility. So there will be no decisions made at that time. And so if you are planning on attending, please get back to me or Deb, and we'll be at 1.
Yeah.
I am not going.
How long do you think it
I have told them that they should plan for 2 hours or less.
Okay.
They said that prior tours that they have done have been in the 1 to 2 hour time frame, which would seem to be a reasonable amount of time. But I've never been to the hospital, so Senator Burton.
Last Friday, I mean, we took about half an hour, 45 minutes for questions before, and then the tour was only about half an hour. And then we hung around for about half an hour, 45 minutes after. So the tour itself is probably fairly short.
All right. So we will, if we don't have a quorum, it makes it even easier. So we'll go from there. Okay. Next order of business that I want to take up are the sheets that we've got. I know that going down through these I'd like to hit the no change requested and see if there is any of you who would have a change. And I know that there's one right here next to me now. So item number 1 was the Commission on Disability. I've got no change requested. Item 2, I've got the legislative branch, no change requested. Executive departments, there's nothing on it right now.
I do. I think that's where it goes.
And so we'll say change requested. And we'll modify that depending upon what's going on. Executive Council, no change. New Hampshire Housing Appeals Board, no change. Conservation Land Stewardship Program, no change. State Commission on Aging, no change. Advocate of Special Education, no change. State Department, there were some in the that are going to be requested to be changed, and I think you also have.
I'm working
Have
on
a
1 or
change.
2.
So. Boxing Commission, nothing. Right to Know Ombudsman, almost put a no change requested on that one. I don't have anything. Do any of you?
There is a request from the office. It's
Okay.
it's under $50,000, but it's just to adjust their salary lines. But we could, if you want to talk about that next week or the next time,
Why
it's
don't
not
we
that hard.
do that? I think it's the 3rd that we meet next, 5/3. So if we pencil that one in as something that we'll take up on the 3rd. Treasury Department. Hold,
Hold.
yep. Land and Community Heritage Program, LCHIP, I've got no change. Community Development Finance Authority, I've got no change. Retirement System, lots of change.
Yep.
Board of Tax and Lands Appeals,
We'll hold on that.
a hold on that one.
Instead of no change.
Yep, that, you can. All right, Developmental Disabilities Council, I've got no change on that. Okay. Department of Military Affairs and Veteran Services, there was changes requested on that one. Department of Agriculture, Markets and Foods, changes there. Insurance, no change requested. Okay, labor, no change requested,
Possibly.
possibly. All right, so we'll say, we'll just label it as change requested, and then
Yep.
if it doesn't come, then we'll change it back.
Mm-hmm.
Employment security, no change requested. Okay. Parole board,
There were a couple changes requested, yeah.
okay. Consumer advocate, no change requested. Site evaluation committee, no change,
On that.
hold on that. Okay, banking, no change requested, okay. Public Employee Labor Relations Board, no change requested. Public Utilities Commission, no change requested. Pease Development Authority, no change requested. Fish and Game, we do have changes. Veterans Home, there are some requests there, I believe. Lottery,
Lottery Commission themselves did not have any changes requested, but there are a couple bills that we're keeping track of that may have an impact on lottery, as well as the next one, police standards and training. There are a couple bills that may
okay,
impact.
so
the
both
council.
of those are gonna be hold for legislation or whatever.
Yeah.
Both of which.
Lottery Commission and the Police Standards and Training Council. Office of the Child Advocate. Pretty much the rest of these, I didn't pre-mark them with anything. So they all have various requests in their budget requests. So if you're looking at, I don't know if any would be candidates to say that there's no change requested.
No, none of these, either no change requested or there are at least some discussions going on with the agencies that may result in changes. So I'd say that's correct. There'll be potential changes coming.
All right,
Yep, I have a couple of amendments for DOT too.
yep. All right, so now I want to go back up to the top of the list.
Would you like one motion, would you like one motion incorporating all of the no change requested that we seem to have agreed on?
It depends on how we're going to do this. Yeah,
Well, these are all tentative votes anyway, right?
right, I would look at these votes as a sense of the committee and not an actual vote on the bill. I had talked to someone who's been on finance a lot longer than I. Deb gives me good information a lot of times. And I said, are we going to do this like a divide the question, take the votes on the ones that are divided and then, take the vote on everything else. She says that's not normally the way that they do it. It'd be open to us if we chose to do it that way. But for right now, I was just going to, since there were no objections as we read through them, I was going to take that as my sense of the committee and then just postpone any further discussion on them until we resolve how we're actually going to take the final votes.
Well, if you'd like a sense of the committee recommendation as in terms of a motion, I'll move that the sense of the committee being all of the no change requested that we agreed to, that we tentatively approve.
All right.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it is unanimous. Okay.
I'm sorry.
For the third, I don't know how many of these that we want to put on that list. I would, suggest that we go through the ones that we've already talked about. The executive department, I'd like to do that on 5-3. The State Department, I'd like to do that one on 5-3.
I don't think I'll be ready.
Okay, you don't think you'll be ready for executive department on 5-3?
No, for state.
Oh, for state, okay. So 3 and 7 is 10, so tentative, put that on my schedule for the 10th.
The 10th would not work for us because the 11th is session, so there's usually caucuses on Wednesday.
Okay,
So what?
so we'll move it to,
We could meet during Tuesday.
we'll figure out what the next meeting is after the 3rd and tentatively put it in there. But the Tuesday,
That's our normal meeting.
yeah, all right, so it may be the 9th. Okay, Treasury Department, does everybody think we can do that one on the 3rd? No. How many weeks do I need for that one?
I think there are a couple items in the treasury you're gonna wanna wait to see your revenues,
Okay.
before you proceed, so that's probably a couple weeks from now.
Hold for revenues.
17th.
We'll just leave it without a date for right now. Retirement system certainly won't be ready for then. Board of Tax and Lands Appeals. Is that a U for Tax and Land Appeals Board? You,
Want to hold it for now?
well, you had said hold, I think, when we went through
Yeah,
it,
by the 11th, should be all right.
by the 9th.
Yes.
So put that on for 9th. The retirement system, there's lots of things going on in there, so,
Department of Military Affairs and Veteran Services.
I think that's ready for discussion on Wednesday, and what we'll do is we'll put a sheet together with the requests from the department, but you can at least have that discussion on the 3rd.
all right, so we'll do that one on the 3rd. Agriculture and food, can we do that one on the 3rd?
We will touch base with Senator Pearl, and then as far as how you want to proceed on that one.
Senator, you think you'll be ready for the 3rd?
Yeah, I don't think anything we're doing is very complicated. We've got a deletion of some language in HB2 and then another
Okay.
addition of a fund that on.
All right, labor? Okay, well, we'll mark it down because we can always start the discussion on the 3rd and end it later. And I would like to front load some of these that aren't that complicated in this so that we have parole board, the 3rd.
3rd's good, yep. There's just a couple agency requests that you can discuss at that point.
Okay. Site evaluation committee, How about the 9th for that one? Or you want to go
Yeah.
past the 9th?
That's good.
Okay, 5/9. Fish and game, I'm thinking we'll try the 9th on that one. Veterans Home, the 3rd. Lottery Commission and Police Standards Training, if we're holding that for legislation, then we'll leave the date off of them for right now. So how many do I have for the 3rd? I've got, in that first, we've got 1,
Can you just repeat one more time?
yeah, 6, 7. I've got 7, and it would be Executive Department, that's row 3 on the list. Right to Know, which is row 11. And Board of Tax and Land Appeal, no, that's on the 9th.
Wait, what did you say was ombudsman?
The Right to Know Ombudsman on the 11th, that would be a 5/3.
Okay.
The next 5/3 would be line 18, Department of Military Affairs and Veteran Services. And the one right below it, line 19, Department of Agriculture and Markets and Foods. Labor Department, that's line 21. Parole Board, which is line 23. And the Veterans Home, which is line 31.
I had one more.
Which one?
I had executive council.
Executive Council. For
Line
what?
4,
Line 4.
I have no change.
That
request.
was a no change.
yeah, so 5-3. Oh, no, we already took care of it.
It's good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I want to start and pick something harder. The Liquor Commission, that's line 43. I don't remember that there was anything too awfully difficult in that one, do you?
Yeah, a couple bills. You do have House Bill 639 relative to cannabis, which is going through.
Okay,
So
yeah.
depending what happens with that. And then there may be some IT needs, Liquor Commission, that you'd want to talk to them about. Also revenues. They will go through Senate Ways and Means over the next couple weeks to come up with their final revenues. But nothing major
Are
yet.
people
Yes.
coming to, close to a decision on the university system? Do we want to look at that in either 5/3 or 5/9?
Not 5/3, because I won't be here. I want to be here for that.
5/9 then?
What line is that?
The university system's line 48. And the community college system, if you're gonna do one, it seems like it would be good to do the other at 5/9 also.
So were you thinking both of them on the 9th?
Yeah. And I'm not looking at getting into any of the HHS ones for a few weeks.
Till September.
Well, I might like to push it out that far, Senator, but I don't think that you will let me, so. Because if they don't have any money to spend because we didn't do it, then I'll catch heck. All right. So we'll go with that list for right now on what we're gonna do next Wednesday. That will give the departments notice, either 1 week or 2 weeks notice that we're going to be talking about their budgets. we'll go from there. Comments, questions, suggestions?
Is Senator Rosenwald introducing this amendment today?
I would like to
I'll second the motion.
Speak to it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, last time we were in session, I think it was, the Senate took up House Bill 127 on the floor, and we ITL'd it. And that is the same language that the House put in to House Bill 2, which changes the governor's emergency powers. So this amendment, if the committee chooses to adopt it, will align with the Senate position and remove the language which we ITL'd from House Bill 2.
Senator Bradley?
I would just say we've had extensive discussions and legislation that have curbed the governor's executive powers. I think we've reached a good spot. I think that bill that I think we ITL'd it.
I think we ITL'd it. I don't think we
Or
re-referred it.
re-referred it, or this is
And we
just
did.
not necessary. So I agree with my friend.
Thank you.
Nashua.
Any further discussion? This will be an official vote. It's not a sense of the committee. It is a real vote because it is an amendment that we're voting on. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it.
While we're in the
Yay!
in the mode of deleting things, I would propose that we delete section 440, which is the licensed historic racing facilities, date change from 2024 to 2029. The Senate position in Senator Lang's bill was to maintain the moratorium up until 2024. This would extend a very uncompetitive provision until 2029, and I would hope that we will stay consistent with the Senate position by deleting section 440.
I'll second.
Can I? So I think
Open
this.
for discussion.
Thanks. I don't have a problem with that, but I think the Senate's position is the moratorium was extended from current law, which is 2024, till 2026.
I apologize, you were
Yeah.
right. But this
So
is
it's a 2-year moratorium is the Senate's position. This is 5 years.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
there's
you're
a
right. I
bill
apologize.
also in Ways and Means that we haven't acted on yet. So maybe the House put that bill also into House Bill 2.
Well, I still think we should delete this section.
Okay.
All right, we will be voting on the deletion of section 440. LBA, you understand what the motion is?
We do.
All right. Do the senators understand what the motion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? And the ayes have it. And LBA will take care of the floor, the committee amendment. All right. Is there anything else?
If I can find it, there is, but I haven't found it. I'll redo it this way, so it's okay. I can take care of it on the floor, other than that.
Yeah. And, you know, unless they're simple ones, I do encourage you to, you know, get them written out so that,
Well, if I had known Senator Rosenwald was bringing in her amendment, I would have had one written out too, but
yours was an easy one.
mine was an easy one.
So, you know,
What's that?
Setting the standard.
Yeah.
you know, deleting a section is a lot easier than going in and making word changes in the section. And we've made the bill shorter.
For
Okay.
now.
All right. Seeing no other comments, I will take a motion to go out of executive session. I have a motion and a second to go out of executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, we are out of executive session. Our business of the day being completed, we are adjourned.
Wow.
and you'll still be able to make your meeting.